Absolutely fantastic. Potential full-on bull mode bounce is still in effect. The critical $8,200 support that we've been talking about for over a week now is still holding. In fact, it has barely even bounced into that $8,200 range. Will it continue? Because there are still two bullish scenarios to the downside that could still indicate a very nice bounce in the future. Guys, consolidation is completely normal and expected, and this is what we need to continue higher, okay? We're gonna show you the targets. We're gonna take a look and show you exactly what's been going on in these small time frames because it is very informative here. Also, extremely exciting, so much cool stuff. There's some key areas that Bitcoin has bounced around in, but what are the next moves? What does this thing want to do? And hopefully it does not happen too fast because there is a time frame to these things and we want it to stay and consolidate a little bit further before we make the move. Guys, now this is exciting. Let's get into this. Wow, what is going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me here for this episode. This consolidation has been picture perfect so far. Okay, we have a lot to talk about in terms of these targets, in terms of where this thing is going. Things are just heating up, and will we see some more downside before we see some nice action? Some dirty dog or raw action here? Or in fact, have we hit the local bottom and we're heading up? We have a lot to talk about in regards to that in this video, guys. But as well, I just wanted to let you guys know, I did actually post this tweet. If you guys, for the next giveaway, this giveaway actually is only less than a week away. So 2 people are going to win these ledgers here. All you have to do is leave a comment below. And guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, ding that bell, and comment on this tweet. Respond to this tweet to leave kind of what you want, what you guys are interested in doing for the next giveaway. So for the next giveaway, I think we're going to give away a ledger because you can see clearly how many people voted for that. We're going to give away a ledger, and then we're going to give away one other wallet. And again, we already have some responses here. Just go leave a comment below of if you like these other wallets. But guys, we need to jump into this TA. So I posted this tweet the other morning, okay, about getting that nice strong bounce right at the 82. You can see this is on Coinbase. We're going to pull up some other exchange charts here, but you can see just a very significant bounce right at the 82. This is on the daily, so you can see this thing went straight up right after touching there. So now, is Bitcoin going to bounce here? Is this going to be the bounce, and then we're going to go back and retest 9 and try to get to 10K? Or is there still some lower targets we have to test? Now, there's some very interesting things going on this pattern, on this chart, so I definitely want to get into this with you guys. Like Mama always used to say, before you do the TA, make sure to have a hot dog a day. AKA a hot dog a day keeps the TA at play. Guys, awesome stuff. Thank you so much for joining me here. Let's jump into the technical analysis. So here on the 4 hour, you can see something very clear here. We have some key levels that we have drawn across on this horizontal blue line here. Okay, this is a very key level of what we're finding as resistance so far, which also clearly is been very strong support right around this 8,500 US dollar range. Okay, very important there, and it plays a role. We go back further, obviously. Same thing for these two lines. If you go back further, they play roles here. But you can see right now, it is bouncing. It has been bouncing right here very significantly for the past 2 days. Okay, and that's right at like the $8,290, $8,300 range. So it's barely dipping into that $8,200 range so far. Okay, and to remain extremely bullish, again, I just want to show you these small time frames so you can see everything, how far the price action's gone down and how little time it's spent at some of these current levels here. So as you can see, it has not even actually gone down to the $8,200 range on many of these exchanges here. So you can see, again, why this is so significant for one reason, besides everything that's on these daily charts, which we've been talking about for days, clear reasons why this is such an important zone. But even on this 4 hour chart, you can see, this was the very top of this pattern before it broke out, this area right here. Okay, and again, there's a million reasons why on the daily chart, so it's not really worth getting on the 4 hour chart why it's so important there. But you can see it's still not really come down to this area. So this is, if it came all the way down to here, that's still mega bounce mode. That's still super positive, and that's totally fine. This is totally healthy for the market. In fact, it could dip its toes a little bit into some of these patterns with a wick on like some of these hourly and 30-minute charts, and it would not mean anything bad for this bounce. It's still going very strong here. Now, if we actually dip our toes a little bit, you can see on the 30-minute just how many times it's actually been touching here. In fact, only once so far, for about 2 hours, it went below even the 83, right around the 83, like the 82.90 and a little below that. So it's barely been going even below this just yet. So far, it's been holding. So this box basically represents the range it can trade in and just be totally perfectly normal and healthy in terms of where we can still go to get this mega bounce. Now, guys, when I say this mega bounce, if you've been watching the channel, you guys know the targets we have here and the things we've been looking at. 8,200 is the first mega bounce zone that's still incredibly bullish. everybody's been calling for 7,500, which is one of our targets, but we have these targets above it because the possibility of these holding is still significant. And in fact, this has been holding for 3 days. So even if this broke now, this was still an important zone because it's at least held for 3 days right here. So it's been very robust in this area, 8,300. Again, a million reasons why. One of the biggest reasons I've liked lately is that this Fibonacci retracement here, if we zoom in, you can see the golden pocket. It actually bounced essentially right at the golden pocket and bounced straight back out of it. And it wasn't just 1 day either. It's been doing that for about 3 days. It keeps going into this area and immediately shooting back up so far. Now this could end up being extremely good support, and we could see the bounce out of there. Now guys, there are 2 other targets, okay? We have a 78. 78 is a very important target here. And the lowest we can go to remain mega bullish for a bounce, because that's the perspective we're taking this from. Well, the targets we're talking about now, about going down to, these are still extremely bullish targets to get a bounce. Now, say we went to 6,000, that's not a bullish target for a bounce. That's when we start breaking below, and that's like, we start changing our tune and we start thinking, okay, maybe we won't have a mega bounce now. The targets we're talking about now are mega bounce zone targets, okay? So we have the 82, the 78, and the 75 are the 3 primary, extremely important areas where this thing can still be extremely healthy. Now, so far it's found a lot of support right around the 82. Now, who knows if that'll hold up, but as we've been talking about for 2 weeks for this $8,200 level bounce zone, if this thing actually is able to consolidate, I still would think about another day or 2 in this zone. If it can hold there for another day or 2, I could see the momentum picking up. We could see, like we saw here, guys, like we saw back around the 10th of January with this pattern that we saw break out. Let me actually zoom back to it. This pattern right here, this symmetrical triangle breakout. Okay, so if we have time in here, we can consolidate and potentially form another pattern on these small time frames, just like we did here, just like we did here as well. Given enough time, we can see another pattern form within the 4-hour charts and even the 1-hour charts here. So we still need about another day or 2 if it can consolidate in this area, and we could form some sort of nice bullish or bearish pattern depending on how this pattern forms. That's why it's so exciting to watch this, to see what it forms exactly and to see if we're actually going back to test 9,000 or if we're going to go back, maybe we'll break down to 78, okay? And again, that would still be a perfectly bullish pattern for even the short term to the midterm. Okay, so you see that Fibonacci bounce right there as well, right on the 200 EMA. These things are consolidating perfectly so far. Guys, you know how excited I've been for the $8,200 pullback area. We've been talking about it for about a week and a half now. Okay, we've been very excited about this pullback, and so far it's actually still been holding there 3 entire days. Okay, now let's switch over to this chart. I want to show you this. You guys see that one of the key areas we talked about, the $8,200, the $7,800 range, and the 75. The 75 is critical, okay, for one reason, mainly that's been historical very strong support, and it was the very top of this inverse head and shoulders before the breakout, which is a normal target to get when retracing to verify and then bounce back up. So that's, again, 75 still bullish. But guys, then we have the 78. The $7,800 level, every day that goes by, this kind of increases a little bit. But this zone right here, right around the 8,000 to 79 to 8,000, right here is this structural line. Now you guys see it actually bounces below that quite often, or it has quite often in the past month or 2. And it has still remained and bounced back, found it for support here, and bounced back up. Now if we got a retracement down to here, okay, and bounced back up, to retest this and then to 10K, again, hyper bullish scenario. It would require a little bit more of a pullback. So one thing I did notice as well recently that I definitely think is important to address here is that when Bitcoin, I think we went from about 87 to like 83 around that day. It was like a $400 drop after going up from under $7,000 to over $9,000 over like the past 2 weeks. We had like a $400 drop, and sentiment was absolutely bearish. You can see the wind gets taken out of them because they see the price drop. Guys, you have to keep emotions out of this. We cannot get like completely moonish when we're going here to 9,000. Like we can't say we're going straight to 10 to 15,000 here. And the same thing when we're coming down. We can't say, oh, we're going straight to 4,000, straight to 3,000. It's so important to keep emotions out of this, because if you look on this chart, this entire pattern here, I'm sure if you were watching this daily, your emotions were dictating how you were feeling about the market. However, things happen and things break out regardless of your emotion. So just try so hard to leave it out of it. It's just so weird seeing the sentiment after a few $100 drop. People are so negative, and likewise, when the price goes up $1,000, people are extremely positive. But you have to zoom out a little bit and just look at the bigger picture, okay? That's what we're basing all this technical analysis on is more mid to long term, okay? That's why we're talking about a short-term bounce, a short-term this, because we're talking about, even though it's going down for a week or two, these are key targets that can lend us to like breaking out to these certain other key targets, which have happened, okay? Been tracking these for months and they have been happening. So guys, try not to let the emotions get too into you. Separate yourself from the emotions and try to be a little more positive. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Bless.